Public records show suffering student performance during the pandemic. It's an issue we've been digging into all week. School districts point to virtual learning as a cause. So why are some now talking about expanding online options? Here's Fox 6 investigator Amanda St. Hilaire.
Dang.
Still, very good response. At least I could tell that you knew exactly what you were doing.
One of school's most valuable lessons
at this point, I don't want to take the test.
Is learning how to make choices.
I got 2 English classes that I'm taking in order to graduate.
MPS students like Malik Taylor had no choice when classes went virtual for a year.
I feel like that we wasn't ready for that.
But online learning did give him the option of a full-time.
So Thursday I got to change my shift to second shift.
Sometimes overnight job.
Yeah. You guys do not have school tomorrow. Just want to give that reminder. There is no school tomorrow.
All the homework assignments just stacking on top of each other, and I'm trying the best I can to just try to prioritize everything.
Malik says his dropping grades are a sign he needs the structure of a classroom. But come fall, what will other students and families decide, given the choice? Public records from the 10 largest school districts in southeast Wisconsin show grades took a hit during the pandemic.
I think it has been due to the shift to virtual learning.
When you teach face-to-face in a classroom, that's a lot different than teaching virtually.
Shifting over to virtual platforms was a really rough start.
But education researchers like Bradley Carl.
I don't think it's so much that, there's something inherently flawed about virtual learning.
Say a future of virtual choice might be how schools survive.
Districts that are able to get on top of that more quickly will be much better positioned to meet families' needs, and conversely, districts that don't get going with that are going to lose enrollment.
Research shows before the pandemic, demand for virtual learning saw steady growth. But those are courses designed for online with teachers used to the platform. Not what students got when buildings closed in spring 2020.
We had large numbers of teachers that with very little preparation suddenly had to take everything that they had done for a period of years in an in-person environment and were told, okay, now you have to deliver this with very little preparation.
That was enough to convince some families.
Virtual is bad. She started literally slipping through the cracks.
Virtual, not the choice for them.
Just being virtual, it really affected my motivation.
I had to relearn chemistry to help get her through an honors chemistry class.
But for others,
I have 2 parents that are both high risk.
He could bring it home, and having an elderly grandmother who is already extremely ill, having to make those hard decisions was something that we had to do.
We had quite a few students just knock it out of the park when we went to virtual.
Our superintendent and leadership is not operating with the notion of getting back to what it was. We don't ever think it'll be that way again.
Kenosha Unified, West Allis, West Milwaukee, West Bend, and Sheboygan school districts talked about continuing, even expanding future virtual options alongside in-person learning.
Throughout everything, we've tried to preserve and protect choice for our families and our students.
Even as some district numbers.
Did you want me to pull up share the screen for the F report? Yeah. Blue represents in-person students. The orange represents those virtual.
Show last semester's virtual students struggled more academically than those in person.
I think a lot of parents are going, well, then why even, continue with the virtual option once the pandemic's over?
So that's a very good question. And I'd be hard pressed to say that if a student was failing virtually right now, that we banish them to never operate virtually again, in the same sense that we've had students that fail horribly in person, but we don't tell them that they can't come in person anymore.
The fear is withholding quality options from families will push them to choose different schools.
We've recently relocated during the pandemic so that my son could start middle school in a district that could provide him with the needs that is important to his academic growth.
Whether it's in person or virtual.
Yeah.
After a year of getting no say in how they learn.
I have United States history. I love that class.
Students say they're just grateful they're finally not far off from having a choice.
Have a good weekend.
Amanda St. Hilaire.
That class over.
Fox 6 investigators.
And all this can mean even more work for teachers. So is that plan sustainable? You can catch Amanda talking about that tomorrow morning on the 8 a.m. hour of Fox 6 Wake Up. And join us back here for the conclusion of our Learning Loss series. A look at why it's so difficult for parents to get basic information from some school districts. That's tomorrow on Fox 6 News at 9.